Well, Packers did not win today's game. Sad, but obviously it meant nothing because we already clinched our spot. But at least we weren't a team that had a winning game against a 2-14 team whose fans came to the stadium wearing clown costumes to protest the franchise. At least we weren't the Indianapolis Colts. Yes, I'm calling you out. But anyways, what a wild week that we got. First, week 18. Lots to get to. Let's get to the show.
Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, about now, about now, about now.
What is popping, y'all? It is me, Clubboy Bales, and welcome to another episode of Wisco Sports. Now, Packers fall to the Detroit Lions. Final score 37-30. It was, I guess I could say, a good-fought game. Produced more offense than we did against the Chiefs when Jordan Love did some playing time. But obviously, you can't really acknowledge that. There were some things in this game that weren't the greatest. However, I'd say they tried their hardest and couldn't fall through. The defense did lose us this game. However, you know, being in this game obviously was definitely something that felt a lot better and more comfortable with. So anyways, let's talk about, you know, Rodgers firsthand. He's like a cheat code. I mean, he has the highest touchdown to interception ratio in the regular season of all time. I mean, that's just a stat to say. The last two seasons, I mean, let's talk about his final stat line this season. 4,115 yards, 37 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and a 111.9 quarterback rating. I'm sorry. Pretty much he is, I think, going to be the lock on the MVP this year. Aaron Rodgers, you know, his regular season is officially done. However, you know, over the last 2 years, let's especially talk about the last 2 years, he went 738 for 1,057, so that's 69.8% completion rating, 8,414 passing yards, 85 passing touchdowns, 91 total touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and that's just a ridiculous 2-year span. I mean, you gotta be honestly crazy about what he's done. Also, Davante Adams today, which was pretty cool, he broke Nelson's record, and obviously that is something crazy because, and usually you'd say, okay, well, we had an extra game, but he did miss a game because of COVID, so that does actually technically count. So what? It's nice that, you know, Rodgers and Adams both wanted to play to make sure something like that happened. If I had to give a game ball, Alan Lazard, Patrick Taylor, Josiah DeGuara really provided all the touchdowns today. A.J. Dillon, also another great game. And also David Bakhtiari returned and played for the first time this year. It was great to see him get a couple playing times and possessions. He looked good. He's a little rusty, but you know, it's great to see him finally put back in there, which I think is awesome. I got to give him a shout out for finally being back. You know, it's crazy. You know, Davante Adams breaking Nelson's record is an outstanding thing. On the injury front, not the biggest amount of injuries. However, MVS did leave the game with a back injury. Chandon Sullivan also left the game. No, I don't know what that one was for. But, you know, we rested a lot of our secondary and a lot of people in the second half, which kind of basically could have costed us this game because, let's be real, I mean, you know what, like, they just kind of didn't care, because when I saw like half the people in there were like people with hardly got any playing time, so I think they just kind of treated this game as a preseason game, so I wasn't really too upset that we lost this one, but it was a silly game, 13-4, and I think it's playoff time. Obviously, the defense did not play well as they gave up 37 points, however, I'm hoping that this is not a concern going into the postseason, because LaFleur was very upset that the defense played as bad as it did today. Now, yeah, last week was our best defensive performance, but this week was definitely very shaky, so I don't really want to see that really come into effect. Now, home field advantage is the best thing that you can have as a Packer fan, because you got to go through Lambeau Field to win games, and that's going to be very tough. It's going to be very interesting to see where things go. It's a silly game. You know what? We're going to move forward, and it's playoff time. That's the best thing we can see. Hopefully MVS's back injury isn't as bad as it thinks, but Randall Cobb hopefully should be back. And, you know what, getting Bakhtiari as well as Myers back, our center, I think that absolutely is great. You know, because Myers did great this year. That's what's hand down phenomenal. Another side note, I'm not gonna. Love did throw 2 interceptions, but a lot of it was this. But a lot of it really did have to do with Amari Rodgers. Yeah. So Amari Rodgers really did cost the Packers a lot, because let's be real, I was excited for this pick, but I'll be honest, it just really sucked. I really wanted to see him do a lot, but the problem is we didn't see it, and honestly, from today's game, I could see why. Dude is a bust. I'm sorry. I've given my chances. I thought he was going to be good, and I was just wrong. Dude, I don't know what it is, but he needs to really step it up if he really wants to be appreciated. He just can't do anything. I'll be honest. I'm sorry for the guy. All right, looking at the stats on today's game, Aaron Rodgers went 14 out of 18 for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns. He played entirely in the first half. Jordan Love played in the second half, where he went 10 out of 17, 134 yards, a touchdown, and the 2 interceptions. I wouldn't say they're both his fault, but really Amari Rodgers did have to do with it. A lot of it was Amari Rodgers kind of got in there and deflected it, and that cost one of the interceptions. The other one was a kind of a high pass that was deflected and interception. So it was not really all of Love's fault, but also Amari Rodgers decided to take it out of the end zone, and I even said I'd cut him for doing that, because he wasted 7 seconds, and that forced Love to really try and heave something, and honestly, that's not on him, but you know what? I'm not going to be too hard on him. He won't play in the playoffs unless they really have to do it. A.J. Dillon, 14 carries, 63 yards, as when a catch for 4. Patrick Taylor, obviously Aaron Jones did not play today. Patrick Taylor got plenty of time really doing a lot. He had 11 catches for 53 yards and his first career touchdown, so congratulations to him, as well as 2 catches for 3 yards. On the receiving end, Alan Lazard had a very great day. 5 catches, 75 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Josiah DeGuara, 3 catches for 66 yards, including a 62-yard long touchdown catch and run, which was very impressive to give the Packers the lead before Detroit went down and took the lead before the end of the game. Devontae Adams, 6 catches, 55 yards. He obviously broke the record. St. Brown had 2 catches for 22 yards. 3 catches for 16 yards for Juwan Winfrey. Only a catch for Amari Rodgers, but didn't really for 5 yards. But you're not going to really see much on. And then Juwan Winfrey also was committed the only turnover on the day, as he fumbled the ball that gave Detroit a score. Chris Barnes led the team with tackles, 7 totals for 5 solo. And then on Detroit, Jared Goff went 21 out of 30, 238 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He was only sacked once, and that was Dean Lowry. Tommy Kennedy actually played, and he actually threw a touchdown, a 75-yard touchdown to Khalif Raymond. So he actually threw his first career touchdown, so that's cool for him. Former Packer Jamal Williams led the game with 13 carries, 43 yards, and a catch for 9. DeAndre Swift had 7 catches for 30 yards and a touchdown. He was pretty limited, 4 catches for 16 yards as well. Amon-Ra St. Brown, emerging star, he's been doing great. 8 catches, 109 yards and a touchdown for him. Khalif Raymond, 4 for 101 and a touchdown. Wright had 2 catches for 51 and a touchdown, and some production from everybody else as it was. 14 tackles for Walker the third. That was a pretty great game for him. And C.J. Moore and Walker both had the interceptions on Love today. Mason Crosby, 1 out of 1 from the field goal line. Riley Patterson for Detroit, 3 out of 3 for the free throw line. Still hasn't missed a pick in his rookie year, but that's great for Detroit to get a win to finally finish the season. They will have the second overall pick, as Jacksonville somehow just decided they were going to win. But if Detroit would have lost, they would have had the first overall pick. So you know what? Even the commentators were joking, why don't you just kneel this one out and get the first overall pick? But honestly, it doesn't matter because one's getting Thibodeau, one's getting Hutchinson. So honestly, this year's draft isn't as crucial as years before. On the other hand, let's focus on the Packers playoffs. We have 2 weeks to prepare. Obviously, our opponent is to be determined. Obviously, as it works is we will play the lowest remaining seed. So hopefully that isn't Dallas or Tampa in the first game, because I really don't want to have to face those teams. Because let's be honest, I don't really have confidence when it comes to playing those teams. However, Brady did lose Godwin and Antonio Brown, but especially I am frightened of Dallas. If I had to play any team, Dallas is just going to be hard to play. But also, another reason why we probably lost this game was no Devondre Campbell. And honestly, he is a huge reason why our defense has gotten so much better over the years. Without him, we couldn't do anything. We were pretty much had holes all over the place. Devondre Campbell is such an addition, and that is why he is one of the best pickups they've ever had. And for cheap, too. So, let's just focus on the bright things, on the bright side. We got to work on this in 2 weeks. Obviously, you'll be seeing me making predictions on the playoffs in this next coming week. It will be a great wild card weekend. Obviously, things are yet to be determined. At least you're not the Colts that had to just win, and now Pittsburgh is in the playoffs. Yeah, that I just said Pittsburgh's in the playoffs, as they really should not be in the playoffs. Oh boy, but it's going to be a very interesting wild card week. But I'm super excited for everything. Lots of matchups still going on. Tonight's matchup, final matchup of the regular season, is the Las Vegas Raiders and the Los Angeles Chargers. Both those teams, I think, have made the playoffs unless they tie. So that's a good thing. So honestly, let's just see how things go. It'll be interesting. Right now, the 49ers lose and the Saints win. They get in for the final spot in the NFC. And Tennessee Titans have clinched the bye. So Kansas City will have to play next week. Yay. But honestly, it's crazy to see how things work. I'm just ready for all this to happen. But here's the deal. If the Packers don't win, Joe Barry will probably be on the firing block, and it's going to be probably rebuilding from there, because obviously you can't be anything there. And here's the deal. If we win the Super Bowl, I'm fine with Rodgers leaving. I'm just be honest. That's just my honest opinion. But let's just hope for the best. The future of this organization really rides on these playoffs, and I think the Packers, all they need to do is focus on win these playoffs and especially win the Super Bowl. So anyways, it's your man Clubboy Bales. Subscribe below, comment with your thoughts, and as always, go Pack Go. We will see you next time.